Well, good morning and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together, enjoying some beauty on the outside and some beauty on the inside. Today, we're going to be doing an easy full face makeup tutorial celebrating, I'm going to call it Purple Rein. I know, can you tell? Because my hair is purple now. So let's just get ready, grab your palette. This is going to be the Juvia's Place, the Violets, and let's just have some fun. You ready? Let's go. All right. So, our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Now, last week we were working on a verse, and just going to be completely transparent here. I had a lot happening this week, and I did not do a good job of hiding this word in my heart. So we're going to use this verse again for this next week. So the verse is on your screen. Let's say that together. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. And that is Psalm 46:5. Sorry, I'm trying to read these really tiny letters. Okay. So we're going to have that scrolling across the bottom of our screen as we celebrate all things Purple Rein. And whether you are a Prince lover or not, I guess that'll kind of show your age, we are just going to be having fun and playing with the color purple today. So just a reminder, you can do this look with any color selection. It's kind of a monotone, so you need just one color. So let's say you chose brown. So you'll need a light and a dark, and then a couple of medium shades of the brown, and that will give you enough variety that you'll be able to do this look. So any color will work. But today I'm going to be playing with the Juvia's Place, and this is the Violets palette. Now, if you don't know how to get that, no worries. The show notes will have a link for that for you, so you can get exactly to the product that I am specifically using. And let me show you. So these are just some beautiful colors. Now, unlike some of her palettes, these shadows don't have names. So we're just going to go by location on the palette. This is a smaller palette. I think it might have been like $8. These wear beautifully. So let's just jump in. So this is a full face makeup tutorial. So we're going to start out with like everything. So let's get going with our primer. I am using the POREfessional. This is the matte primer. So I don't know if you necessarily need to do this, but I always give it a shake just to make sure it is all good to go. Oh, let me get my chat going. I can hear y'all dinging and I didn't have it on. Okay, yes. Good morning to you all, or good middle of the night, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you are. So give me a shout out and let me see where you are here from. And at any point you have any question of what we're doing, what product we're using, that kind of thing while we're live. I'm saying we, like me and the mouse in my pocket. Go ahead and ask that in the chat where you are, and that will come through, and I can see it and do my best to get that asked and answered while we are live today. If this is like later on and you're watching this as a recording, then wherever you are, you can go to my social media and ask a question, or you can put it as a comment on the platform that you're on. So any way you turn it, I'll be happy to help you. So again, we've got the Benefit. This is the POREfessional. This is the matte primer. Doesn't take a whole lot of this. So it's going to start out, it's going to come out, it's kind of white, but then it's going to dry down clear. So we're just going to get a little bit of that there. Wherever you have troubles with pores, if you have any problems with makeup separation, maybe you got fine lines and wrinkles, especially around your lips. Do that around your lips, because around your lips, you're going to be able to put that there, and that will help your lipstick to wear better and your liner to just look a little more crisp. All right. So now we got that on. You'll feel that kind of dries down to sort of a silky feeling. Wow. Is it the middle of the night over there? Australia? Wow. Well, thank you for coming today. Great to see you, Rachel. All right. So we are you know, it's funny that your name is Rachel because there was just a thing on the news about Friends talking about their favorite Friends quote. And the one that three of them had was when Ross says, pivot, while they're trying to move that couch in that stairwell. Anyway, sorry, total rabbit trail. Okay, so we're going to be using well, actually, let me knock it out of order here. I'm going to use the concealer first. This is the Bye Bye Under Eye from It Cosmetics. A little bit of this goes a long way, so you're not going to need a whole lot. So we're just, actually, let me put it on this finger. I don't know what I'm doing. Losing my mind here. Okay, so we are going to, oh man, when you get down to the bottom of the tube, it's not quite ready to be trashed yet, but there's only a little bit in there. Okay, let's see if we can swing with this. Okay, so we're going to just kind of big picture, put it where we want it. Oh yeah, we should be fine. And then we're going to let it set there for just a second so it heats up to our body temperature. And I think I may actually have to call it quits on that too. So I know. But you know, you want to just squeeze every last bit of it, making Dave Ramsey proud. All right, so grab your foundation brush. I am using the Airbrush Blurring Foundation Brush number 101, an It brush for Ulta. So now that that's had a chance to sit there, we're just going to blend that out a little bit. Just smoothing off the edges there. Getting that right up to that eyelash line there. Using it as a primer on our eyelid. And then I've got redness on my nose and my cheeks, so I'm just going to blend it out there. And you can see how that just kind of evened that out. I'm going to keep that brush though, because I'm going to use the same brush for my foundation. So I am using, as previously shown, the Lancome Teint Idole foundation. I'm the shade 225N. So if you don't know your shade, not sure what you're looking for, swing by your nearest Ulta, Sephora, Mac, and they can get you shade matched for that. So I always shake it up. This is the reformulation. Yes, that is correct. This is the one that has the SPF in there. So we're just going to give one pump on that brush. We're going to dab it. Sharing the love. And then we're going to blur that out. I like to use, yes, that's a great question. I like to use circular motion just because it keeps you from getting like a kind of line. And then we're going to do that down on our chin line there so it blends out. We don't have any kind of lines. And we're going to work that right up to that concealer that we put under the eye. Making sure we get around that nostril really good. Y'all, I have had road construction for like 4 weeks. So if you hear beeping and dumpstering and construction, or it sounds like my house is going to fall, it's just road construction. So, yeah. Okay, you too? Man, I mean, you need to have it done, but they're working on the water line, but all right, so now we're going to give just a little partial pump, just a little bit, and that is going to do our forehead. And you can use clips or something like that to hold your hair back. I don't really have enough hair for all that. I was going to use a headband, but I don't know. Then it smushes your hair, and then you have to fix your hair more and blah, blah, blah. So I just use my fingers to hold it back. You do whatever makes you happy. I do have a super cute Hello Kitty headband, though. I really should probably pull that out. Okay. So get in close. Make sure everything is blended out nicely. You have an even surface. Nice. You know, just you've stripped all your color out of your face, and now you've got a nice thing to work with. So we are now going to set that foundation that we've got on there. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier. This is the translucent ultra blur setting powder. And then I'm using the Beauty Blender puff to put that on. So, or I could shake my powder so greatly that I drop it on the ground. In case you thought this wasn't a live makeup tutorial. Okay, so we're gonna start. Thank y'all for laughing with me. We're gonna start out with the tip of that beauty blender or beauty blender puff, and we're just gonna get that under the eye area. We're gonna start there, and we're just gonna tap that on to that foundation and concealer that we just put. Letting that corner do the work for you in and out of some of those delicate spaces. Don't use too much pressure. Don't tug and all that. We don't want to stretch out the skin, especially in that delicate eye area. Now we're going to flip that puff over and use the end. We're just going to tap that in. Yes, I do like a puff better than a brush, because a brush has a tendency to just kind of fluff it out into the atmosphere. So if you love dusting, knock yourself out with the brush. I don't like dusting. So okay. And then last, we're going to do our forehead. Just pressing that up. Okay. Now we are set and we are all good to go. So now we're completely devoid of all color because we've just made a nice even playing field. So now let's put the color back in exactly where we want it to be. So I'm going to use the Hoola bronzer. And this is just a nice, not too deep, just a nice little warmth to it bronzer. I'm using a foundation brush. This brush has one end for the bronzer, one end for the highlighter. I believe this is an It Cosmetics brush. Anyways, it's one of their dual endeds that they have. So we're going to start out with a little bit on the flat side of there. We're going to go from the ear, kind of in a little bit of a circle shape, to about halfway to the eye, heading towards that nose. And then up that temple. So we're going to stay above the hollow of the cheek. That's going to help to lift that face a little bit. Up that temple. And then again, still using that flat of the brush right against that hairline there. Just going to give ourselves a little bit of color up here. Now we're going to switch to the small side. From the ear to about the corner of the mouth, keep a neutral face. And then we're going to run this right along there to give the illusion that we have more of a jawline than we actually do. Just right underneath there. Same thing on the other side. And now we're going to keep on that small side. We're going to shape our nose. Now, if you have a super skinny nose, yay for you, and you don't have to worry about this. So we're just going to chisel out that nose, carving staying right on both sides of that, and then the tip. Okay, now that we have our low points done, let's work on our high points. I am going to be using the Tribe Highlighter, Volume 3. Is it Volume? Yeah, Volume 3 from Juvia's Place. This is just kind of a nice champagne sort of colored highlighter. We're going to be using this end of the brush. Just going to give it a couple of swirls. We're going to go the top of the cheek here and then right next to that eye. That's going to give us our high points, our highlights. Hence the word highlighter. And then we're going to run that right down the center of the face, making sure we pay special attention to that Cupid's bow. That will give your lips an illusion of being a little more full than they actually are. Now we're going to switch to a regular blush brush. And we're going to be using the Juvia's Place. This is the Volume 4. And today we got a lot of purple happening on our lips and our eyes. So we're going to bring it down just a little bit on the cheeks. So we're going to use this one right here. we're going to go between the bronzer and the highlighter, and between the bronze and the highlighter up on that temple. And then get a little bit and just give you some color up on that forehead, tip of the nose, chin. Not like a whole bunch, just like a little teeny. Okay, now we got something to work with here. So we are going to go to, actually, let's say our verse together, and then we will press on to our lips. So I waited until the verse was like in the middle. So let's wait till the verse comes back around. Okay, here we go. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. And that is Psalms 46:5. All right, so now we're going to get on to our lips. So I am going to be using 3 different things on my lips today. First thing is a NYX Suede. This is in the color Amethyst. It's a lip liner. And then we'll go to the MAC. This is the matte lipstick in the shade Smoked Purple. Just a nice dark purple color. And then we're going to be using the MAC matte in the color Heroin, which is a lighter purple color. And this is just going to give us a little bit of an ombre lip, give us a little more full lip feeling. So first that lip liner. And this again is the NYX and the Amethyst. So we're going to start out in that Cupid's bow. Get you a nice V shape going there. And then round that out to the corner. Here we go. Now in the bottom, we're going to start in the bottom center, and then we're going to work that out to the corners. And you are straddling that lip line for all it is worth to get as much lip real estate as you possibly can. We're going to go to the outside corner. And to the outside corner. Now we're going to take that lip pencil and use just a little bit lighter pressure and come just to the inside of that line we just did and line again. And that will help soften the edge so you don't have like this harsh line where your lipstick ends. I mean, sometimes you want that, but not today. All right, so we're going to grab that Smoked Purple or whatever darker color you have. If you're doing a brown eye, this could be a nice chocolatey brown color. If you were doing a green, I mean, you could do a green lip, but probably a peach would be a good choice. So just something that's going to be a little bit darker. So we're going to take the edge of that and we're just going to line, we're just going to go over the lip liner we just did and leave the center empty. Okay, you can see I just left that empty down there. Now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to grab that other lipstick shade that we have. For me, that's going to be Heroin, but something about 3 shades lighter than the color you just put on. We're going to take that and we're going to fill the void. There you go. Just give a little bit of a blend. And now you have a nice ombre lip. This is actually probably only 2 shades lighter, so you can't see it too much like on the camera, but you can definitely see it in person. So now we're going to play with some fun with that Juvia's Place Violets palette. Okay, so let me get my, there we go. So again, Juvia's, this is the Violets palette. And we are going to be living, actually, we're almost using every color. We're going to be using this one, this one, this one, and this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there you go. Okay, so I did not grab any of my eyeshadow brushes. There we go. So I just grabbed a whole handful. So it'll be interesting. Okay, so we're going to start out with, this is a Morphe. This is the M456. So we're going to start out with the darker color first. Then we're going to move to the medium, then to the lighter, and then do an accent color. So for right now, we're going to be in this one right here. Yes, I know. I just can't with me either. Okay, so we're going to be getting this mainly just on the tip of it, not like all over the brush, just on the tip. And with this, less is more. You're going to get more fallout if you try to do too much at one time. And we are just going to get that right on that bone and then in that outside corner. And you want it nice and dark. Maybe we can get like a little point going on there. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And at this point, if you've got, like, if it's not blended out and all that right now, you don't really need to worry about that. We'll catch that in a minute. What we're working on right now is we're just going to put the colors down and then we're going to come back and blur them out. So if you've got like, you know, like that, a goopy edge, don't worry about it. We will soften that out here in a second. Okay. If you have hooded eyes, at this point, you want to make sure when you are looking straight ahead that you can see that purple peeking up over the fold of the eye. So you can see right now, I can actually come up a little bit more so that you can see that color when I'm looking straight ahead. You want to be able to see it. This will help to give you a more open eye look as we finish out the color. Okay, so I am going to take, actually, nah. Okay, so I'm just going to use a general eyeshadow brush. This is a MAC 2, I don't know, 30, 80, 90, something like that. It just looks like this. And we're going to go into the medium color, this one right here. And we're going to get that next color right here in the middle. Ooh, for whatever reason, that one is like flaking everywhere. And we're going to come about 2/3 of the way across that lid with that. So right about where that dark purple ended. And then we're just going to build up that color until it is a medium to that dark one we had on there. If you're experiencing, it might be because my palette's, I've had it for a little bit. But if you're experiencing fallout, you just brush that off and then we will fix that later with that little touch up of a Laura Mercier. Okay. Now we do want to use a fluffy brush with that same color in it. So this is the M433 Morphe one, just a fluffy brush. We're going to use the same color we were just using. You're going to get it just on the tip, and we're going to use that to kind of work and soften that edge there on that darker purple. So you're just going to get a little bit on it and then just kind of dust it in there, just working back and forth over that edge, and that will just soften that. And with that, you can go ahead and come in a little bit and extend that color over to the inside. There you go. And that just kind of softens that out. Okay. So this is what we've got so far. Now we're going to grab let me just do, this is the Morphe 506. We're going to be using this one. And we're going to go into this color right here, the lighter shade. And we're just going to swirl that around, get that on that tip, and place that right on the inside. Now we have another color that we're going to do like on the inside. So just get it on the inside of the lid. We're just going to work that up into that color we put a second ago. These are just so pretty. I'm not digging this medium one. He needs to behave himself. There we go. We're going to go back to the brush that we used for that dark purple in the beginning. And we're just going to refine that dark purple a little bit. Make sure that it's all good now that we blended it out a little bit. Remove any excess. Oh yeah, that's super pretty. Now I'm going to take a very fluffy brush. This is a Morphe 441. And I'm going to use my highlighter. I'm just going to get a little bit of that on the edge and get that right on the outside edge there. Just a little bit. All right. Now we're going to play with liner just a little bit. So I have the Urban Decay. This is the 24/7 Glide On Eyeliner or Eye Pencil in Psychedelic Sister. So we're going to, actually, let me sharpen the tip of that just a little bit. We want a pretty good tip on that. There we go. Ooh, minus that little piece. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go from the outside corner to about halfway on the top. And then on the bottom, we're going to go from the outside corner to about halfway as well. Now, if you want to bring a little intensity to the eyes, you can also use this on your waterline. There we go. And that just kind of gives you a little bit more depth to it. And now that we've got that on there, we are going to use our smudger, and we're going to add a little color to the under of the eye. So I'm just using, oh, that's not the right one. Well, I don't have the one I want, so we're going to use the other one. So this is just a pointed smudger. This is a MAC, maybe 210, 219. And we're just going to get the color on the tip. So we're going to use the darker color that we started with. We're just going to get that on the tip of that and start out in the outside corner. right along that psychedelic sister. We just want a little bit. And we're going to work that up and around the corner into the upper lid. Same thing on the other side. Up and around the corner. And just intensify the depth of that outside corner. Yeah, the other smudger that I was looking for is kind of a little bit of a oblong, and that one does good too. I mean, this one's fine. It's just a little more directional. All right, so now we're going to take this same brush and we're going to use the color here that we used in the middle. And we're going to finish that under eye right along here. Okay, let us dust a little. We're just going to soften that out. All right. So now that we got that, we are going to use our, this is the Velvet Luxe Precision Eyeliner. So this one just behaves kind of like a finger. It's just kind of got a flat tip on it. And we're going to go into this one right here. And that is going to be our inside corner. So you just get a little bit on one side of it. And then we're going to put it right here in the corner. And that one's just got a little bit of kind of a rose goldiness to it. All right. Now we're just going to brush away any excess. Take a look. Wow. That is just beautiful. Now we're going to line and get ready for our lashes, because today we're going to put on some lashes. So we're using the Too Faced Better Than Sex liquid eyeliner. We're going to go from the outside corner to the inside corner. This is just going to give us a nice clean line that will help to hide. If your lashes don't quite make it as far down as they possibly can go, it'll kind of cover that a little bit. So it gives you a little bit of grace. And then also it just gives you a nice, clean, easy way to see exactly where you're going to put that strip lash. And it defines the eye. So it does a lot of things all in one time. So from the outside corner to the inside corner. You just want a nice clean line. And once that bad boy dries, it is not going anywhere. This is a Texas proof eyeliner. I know, right? Do I need to yell yeehaw when I put it on? Okay. And we are just going to let that dry down. I know, because once this thing dries, I mean, it is not going anywhere at all. It stays wonderfully, which is the thing I love about that. I think they have that in a brown now, but I usually like it in the black. Okay, so now that we got that going, while we're waiting for that to dry, let's do our brows. So right now we're going to be, well, my hair is purple. So I'm going to be using the NYX. This is the Jumbo Eye Pencil Crayon. This is in the color, I think it's Eggplant. Yes, Eggplant. So whatever your brow product of choice is, you are going to grab that and you are going to put that on now. If you need any help at all with your brows, I know any Ulta, they have a Benefit Brow Bar, and they can help you with shape, tools, products, all that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to use that eggplant. It's a little darker than my hair color, but it will work. I know, right? I probably could have used that. I could have used that eyeshadow. And we're just gonna follow that brow around. Give us a nice tail. Actually, I'm gonna let the brush do that for me. Let's bring that in just a little bit. Okay, I think I brought it in too much on that side. There we go. Even it out a little bit, Wendy. Okay, now we're gonna use, what is this? This is the Real Techniques brow, some angle brow. There you go. So we're just gonna use that to get that product placed exactly where we want it. Just gonna brush it through. Now I can get that tail. Make sure everything looks nice and smooth. Yeah, and you can see it kind of softened that color just a smidge. All right, let's get that tail over here going. There we go. This one's a little messier than the other one. That's okay, it'll work, it'll work. Okay, now I do got this little thing. There we go. Right there. Just kind of driving me crazy. So, all right. Now, we are to our lashes. What are we going to do with our lashes today? So today we're going to put on some mascara, and then we're going to use a little Juvia's Place Zaria and have some fun. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my, what is this called? It is called the Tweezer Man Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. So, has a little, instead of the metal handles, I don't like those because they kind of bite into your fingers. These ones have like a comfort grip. And then I don't know how this thing does it, but it's shaped wonderfully that it does not pinch your eyelids. So when we crimp our lashes, we want to make sure that we are not pinching our eyelid like at all. If you feel pain when you're doing this, then you need to release it and start again because it should not be painful. I mean, a lot of things, beauty is pain, right? We hear that all for our lives. A lot of things are painful. This should not be one of them. Okay, so we're going to get that on our lash. Give it a little test crimp. Make sure it's exactly where you want it. And we're going to use our verse as the timer. Okay, you ready? Here we go. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. Psalm 46:5. And because we're using false lashes, we're just going to do it that one time. Okay, to the other side. Here we go. Find your sweet spot. There we go. Here we go. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. And that comes from Psalms 46:5. All right. So today I'm using the Bad Gal Bang. We're going to use this on the upper and lower lashes today. We just need a little bit of a coat so that my lashes are as black as the false lashes I'm fixing to put on. So we're just going to give a little bit of a coat here. Making sure we come back and catch those tips nicely. Get the outside edges. Okay. And one coat will do you on this because we're putting the false lashes on. Okay. So catching the outside, catching the tips, making sure we get the inside. I really wish I could put mascara on with either hand, but I cannot. Can any of you put your mascara on with either hand? No, no, no. Okay, one yep. We got one yep. Okay, now we're going to do our bottom lash. Okay, two yeps. We're going to do our bottom lashes now. And you're going to make sure, because you're not putting falsies on these, you're going to want to make sure that you get these nice and good and covered. So we're going to sweep up from the bottom, catching the tips. We're going to make sure that we're using that point to catch the inside of the lashes, that we're going all the way to the outside for those lashes. Okay, now we're going to switch to the other side. And again, we're just making sure that we're sweeping up from the bottom and that we're using the tip of that tool or the wand to get all the little tiny inside lashes. All right. Now that we have got our lashes, we're just going to fan that a little bit. Wow, that shadow came out super pretty. Okay, focus, Wendy, focus. Okay, so we're going to be using, this is the Nubian Lash. This is from Juvia's Place, and this is in the style of Zaria. So this has a nice flare to it. We're going to be using our lash tools from, who is this from? Velour. So this has a little bit of flare. So the inside of it is a little shorter and the outside of it is a little bit longer. You want to make sure that you dry fit the lashes first, that it's going to be the right length for you. Almost everybody has to trim a little bit off. And that trim is going to come from the outside edge of the lash. When you take the lashes off, just put them back in the tray so that they'll be stored. You don't get anything on it, dust, hair, or whatever. And it'll also keep the shape nicely. So we're just going to grab that lash from the outside edge with that tool and then pull it off that tray. I'm going to set it down in front of me so that I can pick them up one at a time to add that adhesive. So let me just grab that lash. There we go. Set that down in front of me. So what lash adhesive am I using, you ask? What a great question. I am using the Idole. This is the 18-hour lash glue. Love this one. I think it stays well, dries clear, doesn't have latex in it, and just has a great, I think that the claim, I've actually wore it that many hours before. So we're going to take that first lash. We're just going to grab that in the center with our lash tool. And we're going to get that lash adhesive on the front edge of that band. And then also on the back edge of that band. We're going to make sure that we pay special attention to the outside corners because that's where you're going to be most likely to have lifting. And then we're just going to set that down in front of us. And we're going to grab the other lash. And I see that one has a little something sticky on it. So let me get that. I don't know what that's about. Okay, there we go. And if you notice anything, now is the time to get it off. Like right there, I've got, it looks like something got stuck to it. So I'm going to grab the comb, the velour comb, and we're just going to comb out those lash hairs to clear that up. There we go. Now back to the putting the adhesive on. Okay. So again, we're going to put that on the top edge of that band. And then on the inside of that. Making sure that we're catching the outside corners so that they are nicely covered so that they will stay nicely. Nothing's worse than a little lifting. If you ever feel like it feels like maybe it's wet or you can actually feel it lifting, or maybe you can see it lifting. Well, then you've got lift. And it's kind of easy to fix that as long as you've brought an adhesive with you. I always keep one in my purse because you just never know what's going to happen. So now let's go back to that first lash we did. Once it starts to get a little less shiny and you notice it maybe getting a tiny bit clear in a couple of spots, then it's about ready to put on. So this one, I'm just going to fan a little bit to speed it along. And this, because it's a flare, I got the wide edge here, narrow edge here. I know that the narrow edge is going to go on this side here. So we're just going to set that down in the middle there. Right where my lash meets my eyelid. Or you could have the lash tool grab on. Let me try that again. There we go. Right there in the middle. Much better. Now we're going to take that tool right on that eyeliner you put. We're going to put the inside edge. We're going to take the outside edge. Get that outside edge on that line. Gonna come around and check the inside edge over here. Gonna pinch together my lashes with the lash, making sure they're sticking together and playing nicely. I'm gonna take the tip of that tool and work my lashes into the lash. Okay, there you go. Now we're going to take the other one. That one is definitely ready to go. And we're going to grab that lash in the middle with that tool. We're going to set it down in the middle. Right where your lash meets your eyelid. And then we're going to do the inside edge, just like the other side. And then we're going to do the outside edge. And just set it right where you put that eyeliner line. See, it's just like a runway for where you want your lash to go. Then we're going to pinch our lashes with these lashes. We're going to take the tip, work my lashes into the lash. There we go. I feel like that one's lifted a little bit. There we go. And just because my eyes are like unhappy about a lot of stuff, we're just going to wipe the tears out the corners. There we go. Now, I know we were working with a dark color and we experienced a little bit of fallout. So we're going to come back with that Laura Mercier and we're going to get that on our little bit of our tool right there on the tip of that, just like on the very tip. And then let's just clean up the under eye area ever so slightly, just making sure we don't have any fallout sitting there. All right, and if you need to, you can come back with that highlighter right here, right here. Okay. And now we are almost done. Let's say our verse together and then we'll go on to the last step. Okay. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. Psalms 46:5. All right. So that is our verse that we're going to be working on all week long. I know it's our second week. For those of you that got it, yay, congratulations on you. Okay. Now see, let me show you right here. You see that did not adhere. Let me show you how to fix that. Okay. So one thing I like about this is that you have a little paddle on the end of this tool. So you're going to take that paddle And right here, you're just going to swatch it on that inside edge. You can see that white I've got going on right there. Then we're going to take that tool and you're going to get that adhesive onto the edge of that band and fix it. See? Just like that. And that's all it takes. And this is why I keep a little container of I have a purse adhesive and I have a makeup table adhesive. And that way I always have it with me at all times when something like that should happen. Because if you were out somewhere and that happened, you got two choices. You're just going to have to suck it up and deal with that, doing that the whole day, or you're going to fix it, or you're going to rip your lashes off. I mean, those are your three choices you've got going on. So now we have all of our makeup on for the day. We want to make sure that we set that everything stays where it should. So I'm using the Juvia's Place. This is the Ready, Set, Sealed. I don't know. I always shake it up. Don't know if you need to or not. And then let's just set that. All right. We're going to let that dry down. Man, that just smells so good. Okay, so, and I see that sticking a little, there we go. All right, so it has been a joy to hang out with you today. Those of you who are hanging out with me from across the world, I so appreciate you. And this morning, while we were chatting, I enjoyed it just so much. So I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on A Little Bit of Makeup and a Whole Lot of Jesus.com. So let's say our verse together again that we've got going on for this next week. There we go. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. Psalm 46:5. And we are going to be working on that verse all week long. Now, what do we got going on right now? We have got, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So let me show this to you, and then we're going to do this together. Okay, so this is Color Me James. This is going to be our book for season 3. And I am so excited. It is almost ready to go. My mentor has looked through it. I've got a couple things I'm working on. I think I've only got 3 things left. And then that book will be ready to go to the beta readers. And then it will be out to the publisher. So excited to be within a couple of weeks of that with you. Look forward to spending almost a year. It'll take us 48 weeks to memorize the book of James together. And that is going to be just such an exciting time. So let me get back over here to you. Now, I want to make sure that I send you out with a blessing this week. I appreciate your being here, and it has been a great time. So you know how much I love scripture and song and how wonderful it is. Really, it just helps you so much. We should find a song that you could sing like the whole book of James to, and then that would make that easier. So if you know this song, wherever you are, sing it with me. The Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his face toward you and give you peace. Heavenly Father, how awesome it is to get to hang out as women together here today, celebrating the color purple, one of the colors that you made in the rainbow. Father, we just thank you so much for this time together, that you would bless us this week as we strive to memorize our verse this week, and that you would help us to hide it in our hearts, that it would be ready and accessible for us, Father, as we put on our full armor of God every day, and that it would be ready to be information for us, and that it would be ready to be information for those around us. And I just pray that you would bless us again this week. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, again, it has been a joy to hang out with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout this week on social media. You can check us out on whatever podcast platform you're on, Podbean, YouTube, Apple Podcast, whatever. You get it. So wherever you listen to your video podcast, remember, it's going to be video podcast, so I'm not on Spotify because that's only audio. All right. So it has been wonderful. Y'all have a beautiful day. Goodbye and God bless. Mwah!